Now finally, we'll demonstrate how to touch up log defects in the web interface, add annotations to defects or survey items, and generating thorough reports. You can even send these directly from the mobile app or the web portal for immediate review and action. Now, touching up reports and generating reports, we're going to go through that in this video. So we'll start with this particular project. So you can go into a project, any of these projects that have had defects logged into them. So as you can see here, we've got a lot of information that was inputted in when we created the project. We can even put some notes or building comments as well. We've got 2 floor plans, some building features here, which we can cover in another video. And there's overall 44 items that have been assigned to this project. So initially, the project only puts the most recent date when you're filtering or when you go into a project, so it doesn't just throw every single defect into this interface. So you can add all of the dates in here. This demo project has been here for quite some time, so we've got quite a few defects that we can go through here and touch up. We've got 2 floor plans, so we've added those in. As a part of this filtering process as well, you can also filter by the state of the defects, whether they're defects or survey items, the status of it, and also the category, whether it be thermal bridging, fire, penetration, general defect, safety, and pest control. So now we can just scroll down. We've added all the dates. We've got thermal defects here as well as just visual image defects. We can go in and touch up the text that is within. This one's got a comment of sick. Comment on thermography images. You can mark up these photos or delete these photos. You can save these photos down. So there's plenty of tools that we can put in place to tighten up our reports and have more direction on what might be an issue within photos before you actually generate a report. Once you save a defect, it always comes back to where you were on the interface. Here's a visual image. This is a rectangular air leakage defect. We can modify the floor or internal wall location. You've always got the location marked up off the floor plan as well. You can touch up what sort of a defect this is, whether we're going to be caulking it, and be specific on what sort of caulk. When you actually select one of these subfixes and fixes, you can also assign a video to the subfix that will give the trade, if you allocate this defect to a trade, a bit of direction on how you expect an issue to be rectified or remediated. Again, you can touch up text. That's been saved, it'll come back. You can also, when you open a defect to edit, you can also sequentially just go to the next defect. So once you've touched up a few items here and you've done a report and you've been quite quick on site, so you haven't filled up all of the actual settings, you can continue to move to the next defect and then to the next. The other feature that you can do to go through systematically defects that you've logged because you've been quite short on site is you can make your updates and then click save and next, so you can sequentially go through all the defects for a particular report that you might be generating. Now, the generation of a report, especially if you've spent all your time on site to fill in with a bit of detail all of these settings, you can generate a report from the app as well. But if you were expecting that you were tight with time on site and you wanted to just spend the majority of your time in the office updating all the nitty-gritty details, you can also generate the report from the web interface as well as the mobile phone interface. From here, this gives you some features of adding a disclaimer, very similar to the mobile phone interface. You can add building comments, which we can go through and show you as well, which is within the building interface. include some airtightness information. Again, that's another field that you can add within the building comments. And then you can also be quite specific on the category of defects, the contacts that have been assigned to the defects as well, so that you can produce an individual report for a particular trade that will remediate a particular type of defect. You can run reports on specific dates or a date range, and you can run a report specifically on status, whether it be remediated or whether it be created and not remediated, and all the other statuses of defects. So once that's been done and you're happy with how the report is to look, you then get a report looking like this with all the locations. Very professional and very specific on locations of floor plans, without having to be at the mercy of an internet connection on site, which, depending on the areas where you're doing your audits or deep within the bowels of some of these buildings that we're building, you have very limited internet connectivity. Let's get started with Envelope IR, capturing performance issues, guiding remediation, and keeping projects on track with fast, reliable reporting.